I have to say, I've known Bob for so many years, literally many, many, many years. And
Let's not so many manys, okay?
well, and no, this is like, and I've known you on like a jovial level, on that like fun guy level kind of thing. But we had the cast party for this movie at my house. And Bob stayed. He was one of the last people to leave, and there was a handful of us. And I've always like thought of Bob, oh, he's just like this fun dude kind of thing. And we stayed, and we remember Bob. We got really deep. It was just like four or five
Wow.
of us left, drinking wine and everything. And Bob was like a therapist. It's such a smart man. Like I did not see that until just recently, which is so weird to me that we all spilt our guts about, traumas in life and all this stuff. And you were like the therapist. I was like, oh my God, am I in shrinking? Like you were so, so good, Bob. Like, and it brought my feelings for you to such a different level because you really like had such knowledge about life and everything. And I don't know, I didn't say this, but I appreciated that night so much. You made me feel good about myself and everyone there. Like it was really touching for me. I don't know.
Well,
Look at me,
well,
I'll
that's
get
very
happy here.
that's very sweet, Pete. We'll see if you still feel the same after it's in the book. But anyway, I just I that's very kind. A lot of that comes from the fact that, I peddle Christmas for a living. So there's a lot of when you go in to meet people over the years, I've gotten to, know people very well, both as an actor, there's some insight you get through acting and people and your friends. And then also when you deal with a lot of your clients, you have to really figure them out. You have to find out what they want that makes them happy. Does it make sense? There's these consultations are not just, oh, where do you want to put the Christmas tree? Because Christmas is such an emotional event for everybody, and it's always about the past. So you always have to try to recreate something that is really important to people. And so in all those years, I've learned to listen to people. And I don't often show that side of me because, first of all, I don't find it entertaining, and it's kind of a buzzkill at a party starting therapy. But no one wants to have therapy in the middle of a party, but it's there's two sides to the Christmas persona. There's Dr. Christmas, then there's me. And I always tell people that we're not really alike in a lot of ways. You have your public side and then you have your private side. I mean, these boys know, but I really love that. Thank you for that, Pete. That was really sweet.
No, and I mean it sincerely. And you did like I saw this whole other side of you, and I was like, oh my God, I love Bob. I really, truly love Bob on a different level. Like, you're a good, good dude, dude. You're a good, good dude, dude.
Oh, I had something really rude to say, but I can't. This is a Christmas.
As a producer, it's hard to be a little objective because I wrote this and then I'm on the set and I'm producing it. But I have to tell you, some of the most fun moments were the end of the movie when Bob, you basically put Christmas everywhere, and we're having that big wedding, and it's a pretend wedding. Obviously, we didn't really get married, but all the emotions were there, and it looks the way it felt. In other words, I felt happy. It was joyous. It was wonderful. And I'll say this sometimes about movies when I'm watching them. I'll say, I want to live in that movie. I would love to live in that last scene. It was amazing. And everybody brought their own little moment to that scene. And Bob, of course, we would not have been successful without all your brilliant Christmas trappings throughout the movie, but in particular that scene.
I love how you use the word trappings. Yes, it's well, actually, the truth, I've been hounding Bruce for years to do a Christmas film, and I always told him that if you ever do a Christmas movie, I will decorate for it because it was always one of my personal goals to kind of act and on a set that we decorated. And so this was it just kind of came
Oh.
together. It was fun, and I couldn't believe he said, "Well, I'd like you to be in the movie." And I said, "Well, then I guess you needed to be a success." I think that's what I, but I give him a hard time. In other words, this is kind of the banter that we have all the time. I think the secret to a fun set is take it seriously, then don't, and then do, because you have to have fun with this. Otherwise, why do it? And it is Christmas.
Thank you. If it's not fun, don't do it. And we had so much fun doing this one. I have to say, I know I did personally, and so did my brother who directed it. But I could tell all you were really. Bob, there's another scene in the movie where you're talking to Jonathan, who plays the wedding planner, and you probably don't even remember it. But it's just a little moment where you're talking, and all the guests are gathered, and we see this long shot of everything you've done to decorate. It's just a cute moment. You're talking to the wedding planner. You're the Christmas planner. It's
I think I was talking to Jonathan that I think I'm better than you are in this scene. And he was
It didn't look like that. It looked like you were planning the next steps, which is
See
the
what
wedding
a good
ceremony.
actor we are. It was
Bob,
fun.
Bob, do you remember your big scene where you come in to talk about the party with us? And it was like day 12 in a row of filming for me, sleeping 2 hours a night, and I was exhausted and I felt so bad, and I apologize, Bob. I'm sitting there and we were having like trouble with lighting or whatever with the scene. So there was like the director talking and I would just sit there and I would close my eyes. And poor Bob was like, "Oh my God, you're freaking sleeping during my scene." Do you remember that? I felt so bad. And I was just exhausted. So any moment I got to rest my eyes, I was like,
It was fine, Peter. It was like doing any scene with you.
oh.
Oh, you set
Oh,
yourself up for that.
you guys, Bob did some funny ad-libs. Not everything made it into the film, but you had a really funny line in there where you said, "Let me pour you guys some shots of that bottom shelf whiskey you're so fond of." And it was in a couple of the takes, and when they were editing it, I said, "Where's that take?" Because they were using one straight where you were just doing the script. I said, "No, no, we have to put that in there. It's too funny." And it is. I saw the film obviously a number of times, but when we were watching it all put together, I just broke out laughing. It's very funny, Bob.
Well, we had to drink that stuff, and I was like, "What is this?" For those of you out there in the real world, normally it's Coke Zero or something really wonderful. I only have one
Not
request
remember.
when I act. I have to have Coke Zero. There's the product endorsement. I hope they pay us.
Maybe we should just reschedule.
Oh, this is serious. Well, I think this calls for a little holiday magic, don't you? I think I can find some of that bottom shelf whiskey you're all so fond of. Oh, yes. There we go. Here's some Christmas spirits.